Hey everyone, Kunik here, back with another D&D horror story for you today. In this story, we have a player that was never all that great at role-playing, trying to DM their first game and plagiarizing just about everything. I'm not going to say any more, so with that said, let's roll for initiative and begin the story. Back in summer of 2017, Catgirl, someone I used to play with online, got into DMing. She got her own 5e in-person group, and would occasionally tell us stories about her game. Catgirl started with her personal setting, but couldn't be bothered to work on it. She created a post-apocalyptic barren wasteland. Only one city existed, and it was surrounded by stone wall. She didn't have lore about the world before/during the apocalypse. She inserted the biblical horsemen, because why not? As for Pantheon of Gods, every cleric needs choices, Catgirl stole my girlfriend's homebrew pantheon, and flattened her work into list of names and one-word descriptions. The worst thing is that Catgirl didn't ask for permission. She only said afterwards, "I hope you don't mind that I borrowed some stuff." I don't know Catgirl's players, but if I recall correctly, they were all new. For character creation, Catgirl asked them to roll everything. First stats, then race, class, etc. This wasn't even a one-shot, but an intended 1 to 20 campaign. She kept telling us how funny it was that one of her PCs had an int score of 4, and due to that was too stupid to not walk into a tree and almost kill himself as soon as the campaign begun. As for plot, Catgirl had come up with something that was like a broken railroad. That is, she only had one direction for players to go to, but she didn't always give them a new hook after story elements were finished. This led to Catgirl's PCs spending entire sessions in taverns, or the most eventful thing of a session being picking a lock. I heard this one often because Catgirl was proud she had ruled Arrowhead as too large to fit in a lock, but she generously let PC try their claw. Catgirl was also proud about how good she was at improvising on the spot, and told how she didn't need prep. 6 months later, Catgirl told us she had prepared a level 16 dungeon. She wanted to test it out before running it to her group. They were like level 5 back then. I made the error of believing I could give her feedback, and agreed to play. The session began with a puzzle, a door, that was just about the first thing that you find by Googling puzzles for D&D. Through the door is the dungeon Catgirl had advertised. She tells us that she took it from a random dungeon generator online, and it's still a work in progress. We spent a couple of hours looking at empty rooms and hallways. There was no story, no monster, and no loot. Eventually, we came to a locked door. Seeing that so far Catgirl hadn't described anything useless, we assumed the door was important and opened it. Behind it was a dead end and a monster. The monster was a homebrew Catgirl had taken from Pinterest, and it was horrible. It took ages for 4 level 16 characters to down the monster, while it never posed any real threat to us. When the monster died, we walked through the empty rooms, and the story ended. Catgirl didn't listen to any feedback. She never ran the dungeon for her group, and the group disbanded due to scheduling conflicts. Or so Catgirl said. Edit, since many commented on this, I'm a DM too. I'm not saying plagiarism is bad in itself, but it takes little effort to modify the borrowed content, and there's no excuse to not do it. I'm obviously biased since Catgirl stole from my girlfriend. I also agree that improv is great and an important part of tabletop role-playing games, but Catgirl wasn't even trying. I've had her DM to me more than this once, and she was always just waiting for her players to find her hidden railroad. If we asked unexpected questions or did something wrong, she wasn't ready to improvise around it. End post. Okay, with how the story started, I don't know how any player, even if they were brand new, would remain playing in that campaign for 6 months. I sure as heck wouldn't. But really, our first clue that this was not going to go well was the reason why the player called them Catgirl. You see, in the comments, they explained that in every game they have ever played with this person, they always played a female with cat ears and did cat noises. So in my opinion, if the player couldn't RP anything but that when they were playing in a game, What made them think that they could be a good DM without a little bit of practice? And why jump into your first instance of DMing in a 1 to 20 campaign that's 100% homebrew? You know, there are pre-written stories and campaigns explicitly for this purpose, with the point of those being to help the Dungeon Master learn how to improvise NPC dialogue on the fly, or anything else that may come up in battle. Anyhow, that is it for this story. If you're interested in seeing more videos just like this, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to be notified of my future videos. As always, the source of the video is in the description below, and right next to that is our Discord link, so if you're interested, be sure to head there and check that out too. Anyhow, while you wait for my next video, here are a few related videos that you can watch in the meantime.